action.
Action. All right. Well, this is going to be chapter 25, part 2. I wanted to show you how to do a paired t-test. It's very, very similar. In fact, it's the exact same thing as what we did in chapter 23, which was the one sample t-test. Okay. In your calculator, it's going to be the exact same thing. It's going to be t-test in your calculator. This was some data that was in your book about this was in your book about husbands and wives in Britain and their age difference. Okay, so what's the null? The null is going to be the same in every single one of these paired t-tests. You're going to write down that the mean sub d, which the d stands for difference, the mean of the difference is equal to 0. You assume there is no difference. Now, I'm hoping that brings up a little bit of something from chapter 23 or chapter 24, last chapter, when we were comparing means. When we compared means, we assumed that the two means were equal to each other, right? But that was for independent events. Now we have dependent events, but we're still going to assume that these two samples are equal to each other. So the way that we write that is we say that the mean of their difference is equal to 0. Okay? This is going to This is going to be a two-sided test, so it's a not equal to. I've defined my variable. I only have one variable here. So let mu sub d be the mean difference in age between husbands and wives. I probably should have said in Britain, just to make sure I had context there. I will use the paired t-test. You could say the matched t-test if you want, it doesn't matter. With an alpha of 5%. And then for this new condition, this paired data condition that I was telling you about in the last video. So I'm just simply writing down that data is paired by couple. We have husbands and wives, so that's what it's paired by. Okay? Deacon, don't draw on there. Okay. Random, same as before, couples were randomly selected. I think they told us that. 10%, 170 couples is less than 10% of all married couples in Britain. I don't think I spelled Britain right, so that's embarrassing, but I'm going to move on. And then the nearly normal, n is greater than 30, so sample is sufficiently large. So there's all that. We come over to the mechanics. So for the mechanics, we would use stats, not data, because they gave us, if you saw, they actually gave you some of the data, but they didn't give it all to you. The average of the difference was 2.2. The standard deviation of the difference was 4.1. The sample size was 170. And that's what you need to be able to use the calculator. So if you go to your calculator, and you getting this, Adrian?
Yeah.
Okay. We go over to tests, and we go to number 2, the t-test. And I don't know if you can see it. But the null is equal to 0. And like I said, the null in every paired t-test is going to be equal to 0. And then we just simply put the rest of our data in there. Okay? And we pick not equal to. Thank you, Hayden. We pick not equal to and enter. And when we do that, we have our degree of freedom, which was easy. It was n minus 1. So 169. T-score is very important, and it was a gosh darn small p-value. It was like 5.9 times 10 to the power of 11. So I got a bunch of zeros and that. It's small. What am I going to do? I'm going to reject, right? Since my p-value is under my alpha, I will reject the null. There is sufficient evidence to show, this is going to sound a lot like chapter 24, okay? There's sufficient evidence to show that British, which I think I spelled that right. I don't know, sorry. That British husbands are not the same age as their wives. They are older, okay? So those British wives are basically going for the older men. But I think that's pretty much true around most of the country. Anyway, ladies, when an older man comes your way, he might be wanting to marry you, okay? So be aware of that. You too, Hayden. Got it? Stay away from those third graders. Anyway, that's all I could fit on this board. So that is the matched, the paired t-test. I think we'll have one more video here for this chapter, and then that's all of our new information. I watched a video today on what your test is going to be like. It's going to be 2 free response questions, a 25-minute one and a 15-minute one. So we will hopefully be able to get together in Schoology, and I need you all to sign up for that. So sign up for it, okay? Hayden, thank you.
Welcome.
Landon, come here. Landon's been waiting very patiently. Tell them what you're wanting.
I want peanut apple.
He wants peanut butter with an apple. All right, let's go.
How you doing, Deeks?
You doing good, Deeks? Yeah. What about you, Riggins?
You could use.
Yeah, Riggins is fine. Deacon, say goodbye. Say bye-bye. Good boy.
Let's see if he's so British right now.
Oh, thanks, Hayden. I appreciate you bringing that back up. I love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you. Bye.